today I'm going to talk about how to have a massive impact at work. And, this topic was actually inspired by me doing some research. I'm going to take the Instagram so it's not getting a big shiny light in it. And it came to me because I was doing research on a new YouTube activity that I'm putting together for January. And I was listening to some of the work of Melinda Gates. And if you have not heard her speak, or she's very inspiring. And one of the topics and one of the stories that she talked about that's in her book, and I'm not going to go into it in massive detail, but is about how when women ask, they can have more influence. And she describes this story of a woman who lives in Africa, and she is sitting on the porch. She's got her suitcases packed and she is ready to leave. And her husband says to her, "What's wrong? Like, where are you going?" They were both happily in love. He was a lovely man. But she described how the situation of having to carry water for like some crazy amount of distance was just too much. And so she was going home to where she grew up, and there was more water available. And her husband said, "Well, you know what? I'll help you carry water." And because he helped her carry water, he started to understand the challenges that she as a woman experiences in that life. And as he then carried water, more of the men started to carry water. And they realized the difficulty. They realized the impact that women were experiencing. And because she asked, and because she learned to work really well with the men, they started to transform the community and build wells in places where water was much closer. So, when women step up and when women move into leadership roles, and I have seen this time and time again, some of the data shows the following. One is we are able to take communities and families from poverty to prosperity. Yes, ladies, when you step up, even as a mom, you are able to actually have massive impact on your personal family. You're able to have massive impact on the community. The second thing that research is really showing, especially in COVID, is that when women step into leadership roles in the corporation, they improve the well-being of the staff in their corporation. And this is really, really beneficial because as we women improve the well-being of the staff in the corporations, the next thing that starts to happen is companies start to see financial gains. They start to see impact in being able to hit numbers higher financially than they were. So ladies, when we step up and have impact and put our mind into creating bigger impact in the community, we actually make huge change in the community and in corporations. And so I'm going to take you through what I call my MECA formula on how you can have greater impact in your workplace so that you can improve the well-being, so that you can improve the financial, and so that you can move up into leadership positions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Michele, and I am the founder of the Confident Feminine Women, and I'm on a mission to help women move up the leadership ladder in very male-dominated industries so that we can also be in CEO positions. And I do this because women, you have a voice and you have more capability to influence and impact your workplace than you actually realize. And so when we learn to utilize the MECA formula to stand there in our confidence, knowing the value that we bring, we actually can create significant improvement in the companies that we work for. So I'm going to try and keep this one shorter because I have a tendency to over explain. And we're going to jump right into what I call my MECA formula. So let's start with M. M stands for motivate. Now, if you are moving into a leadership position or if you are wanting to have massive impact, the first thing you need to do is motivate. And you need to motivate in two ways. One is you need to look at the motivation internally. And then the second is how do you motivate others? So we're going to start with the first bit, which is how do you motivate internally? How do you step up and show up every day willing to do what it is that you want to do? And the first thing that I always recommend with my clients, with women, is for us to develop our personal impact statement. Or if you read in Forbes or different places, it can also be called a leadership brand statement. And what does that mean? That really means helping us define first our why. So Simon Sinek will tell you over and over and over again that understanding your why is more important than understanding the how. And so in corporations, right, places like Apple are known for knowing their why. Places like Nike know their why. That is why they are so successful. So if you want to have massive impact, you need to first start with understanding your why. Like, why is it that you want to change something? Why is it that you want to develop or grow the organization that you do? What is it that you actually believe in internally? So first, knowing your why. But we can't just know our why. We do need to then know our what. So, what is it that we are going to give? What is it that we are showing up and wanting to do in life? So, for example, my why is actually related, and it didn't occur to me until Monday of this week, is related to the reason I continued to study engineering, the reason I continue to be supportive of women in the workplace. And it actually goes back to December 6th in 1989, when 14 women unfortunately were killed because they wanted to be engineers. And in December 1989, I was actually in Montreal that day, and I had just submitted my applications to become a chemical engineer. And I'll tell you that memory every year as it comes up gets stronger and stronger as I think about those women and think about the voice that they lost, the opportunity to impact that they lost. And so for me, I have had a really great career and had amazing success and had an amazing opportunity to give impact into the corporations that I've worked with. But as I moved up the organization ladder, I was the only woman in the room half the time. And I started with a chemical engineering class of 50% women. So my why is really like, what is causing women to step away? And I want to help empower women, help them find that strength, that inner desire to be and have the impact that they want and work with men, because our corporations are higher in volume of men, and we need to learn to work with them so that we can make change with them, not separately from them. So that is my why. And then my what. So when I was a project manager, my what was to create really good projects, was to deliver the results in a phenomenal way. And I was able to repeat that. My what now is actually to do things like live streams and give information and share and help women move forward through helping them with mindset changes and transforming them into these incredible leaders who can stand up in corporations and work with corporations to change the world. That is my why and that is my what. So, what is your why and what is your what? What is the impact that you want to have? So my impact very specifically is I want to help 1,000 women step into leadership positions on their journey to CEO. So when you think about your why and you think about your what, get really clear about it. Become obsessed in trying to figure that out. And I'm going to tell you, it is not something that comes just because you woke up one morning and had some event. It takes you a little bit to figure this out, but take time. Between now and the start of 2022, I encourage you to sit down, spend some time, think about what is that impact that you want to leave in 2022. Because if you don't know what it is, you cannot have massive impact. So that is the motivate portion internally. Now, the next motivate portion is really, we're going to dive into it more as we go into the E, C, and A of our process. And that is really about how to motivate others, how to engage them in the journey and inspire them to move forward. So E is for elevate. And often when I hear a lot of stuff on leadership, on how to change habits and stuff, they start with your mind. And I'm going to be honest with you, I prefer to start with the mind last. And I'll go through some of the reasons, but the reality is often I find that we don't realize what is going on in our mind, but we can feel it in our bodies. We can feel the stress. We can feel the anxiety. You can feel the excitement. When you're ready to do something, you can feel that energy, that excitement, that stress. And often we get into these patterns of doing things over and over and over again on a daily basis in our company. And it may be researching that same data or having a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning where you figure out all the problems that went on yesterday that deter you from having the impact that you want. So elevate to me is really starting to pay attention to your body, starting to pay attention to how your body feels, how you're reacting. Are you like many burnt out women who at like some point in the day, it's like noon going, okay, what bottle of wine am I picking up on the way home? Or are you still full of energy at noon that you're able to give? So the first thing that you need to do to be able to have impact and to be able is to pay attention to your body. Is your body in a good state? Is it feeling energized, excited, and refreshed? And if it isn't, then you need to start going back and going, now, what is my mind thinking? What things are coming up? What habits have I got myself into that I'm doing on a regular basis that are impacting my body? The second thing in relation to your body is actually how you show up for others. Because 93%, and I'm going to say this over again, 93% of what you're experiencing here is not the words coming out of my mouth, but it is my posture. It is my energy. It is the gestures that I am giving. And so the question is, when you walk into a room to lead, to participate in a meeting, to have a conversation one-on-one with somebody, how is your body being perceived? Are you somebody who's closed and angry looking, or are you somebody who is open and full of energy? Are you somebody whose head is typically hung, or is your head elevated so that you come across more confident? Are you dressed? And I know we want to say that the inside is more important than the outside, but 93% is paying attention to all of the things. There is, before you even utter a statement, when you come into contact with somebody, they see how you are. So if you want to have massive impact, you need to think about, am I dressed for success? Am I showing up from a body position to say, I am here, world. I am ready to give all that I can give. I am ready to share the energy and the expansiveness that I have to have the impact in the corporation. So when I work with people, I really spend a lot of time on the body because it is 93% of communication. 93%. So I want you to really be aware that your body sends the image, sends the message before you even start to speak. Okay, let's move to C. C is captivate. And captivate is like, how do we connect with the people around us? And different people will connect in very different ways. One of the biggest mistakes that I personally have made in my career, and that I see often women, everybody actually doing in the corporate world, is we speak in a way that we want to be heard instead of speaking in a way that others want to hear. And so when we speak in that way that we want to be heard, then we miss the opportunity to actually connect and captivate. So, what you want to do is be aware of how the different people in your corporation speak. How do they communicate? So, do they communicate through logic and reason? Do they communicate through their opinions and beliefs? Do they communicate through feelings? What is it? And so, when you enter the room, your job is actually to start being aware, and you need to listen more and pay attention to how the different people in your organization communicate. And the reality is, we all communicate on a slightly different system. And so that may seem a bit difficult, but I want you to pay attention. I want you to close your mouth and listen. And the more you can listen, the more you can observe how that person's body position is, how that person uses language patterns, the more you're able to then communicate to them in a way that's effective for them, in a way that lands what you are trying to say, what you believe in life to be. And so I want you to really think about, what is the language? How do you communicate? And how do you share the information that you have so that you can have the impact that you want? Because the reality is, when we want to influence others, when we want to gain them in and build trust with them, we first need to show up from that body perspective, right? From that elevate, from that open position, like we are open to having a conversation. And then we need to think about, what are the words that they resonate with? What is the philosophies? What is the thoughts that they resonate with? And how can I impact their thoughts by understanding them better, by captivating them, understanding the language, understanding the feelings and emotions that they may be experiencing. Because we only have 7% of our communication based on the words we say. So remember that 7% is based on the words that we say. So captivation, we've now gone through, is really about understanding what the other person wants and how you can have massive impact by sharing your ideas, sharing your suggestions, sharing your philosophies, and the change and the impact that you want at a language that they speak, that they understand. Okay, the last letter in my MECA formula is A, and A is for appreciate. And I really, really like this portion. And as women, we have a tendency to get ourselves into burnout, to have a tendency to please others. And so we'll get into this state of over pleasing or over controlling or overemphasizing what it is that we want. And what I want you to do is spend a few minutes of time and think about turning the appreciation back on yourself. And to do that, you got to start to get into the mindset. So, this is where, when I work with people, we get into that mindset. What are the beliefs that you have on your ability to impact? What are the beliefs that you share in your message? And so when you start to think about the beliefs, I want you to spend a few minutes of time and think about your childhood. Think about, where did these beliefs come from? Where did this philosophy that you are not allowed to speak up? So my grandmother used to always say to me, Nancy, we are in a house, not a field. Please speak quieter. I don't think I've ever been able to speak quieter. And anybody who's worked with me knows that I project my voice really well. But messages like that, like girls are meant to be quiet. We are meant to be seen, not heard, right? We got praised in public school for being a kid who politely raised their hand to ask a question, who waited and sat back. And as women, we need to start to recognize these beliefs that are rolling around in our head that hold us back from being who we are, and start to appreciate the ideas, start to appreciate the value, start to appreciate the time that we can share. And when we learn to appreciate, we can learn to ask for the things that we want, the things that we believe are true. And so if I go back to the start, right, I was talking about Melinda Gates and that her message that she had about this woman describing her need to walk for water, and she's like, I just can't do it. And as soon as she asked, as soon as she shared that, it was like, she became a little bit more free. And why did she not feel comfortable to share that? Why did she? Because her history, her past, her cultural system is that women carry the water. And as women, our belief system will be related to the things that our parents brought to us. So I'm really lucky. I had a mother who did not clean, did not cook really well. And when I found my husband, was like, okay, you need to be able to clean, you need to be able to cook. And he's glad and loves to do it, right? But that was my belief system. A lot of women's belief system is that when we leave work, we need to do all these extra things. So when we're at work, we don't have the energy. But I want you to think about these beliefs. What are the beliefs in your work that hold you back, that keep you small, instead of allowing you to be the best that you can be, that can help you stand up, that can help you live and expand into the person that you are? Because here's the thing, what appreciates. And so when you start to appreciate yourself and start to ask for the things that you need, and start to pay attention to these old beliefs that are rattling around in the back of your mind, that is causing you to play small, that's causing you to maybe hold back and keep your posture small. When you open up and start to pay attention to what are those thoughts, and think back to what are the messages that you received as a little child, what are the stories, what are the beliefs, you actually expand. And so I want you to realize that appreciation is a sign of value. And when you appreciate yourself, others will start to appreciate you, and you will radiate more confidence as you move through your workday. So, those are my 4 secrets on how to have massive impact in the corporate world. I really would love for you to spend time, just taking some time between now and the new year, as you are finishing up maybe your performance plans and you're starting to look at what your performance plan is for next year, thinking about how, if you are in a leadership position, are setting the performance to have greater impact in your company next year than you had this year. Because every day is a new day and we have a new opportunity to grow. And when we sit and put a plan together for how we want to be more impactful, we want to be more successful in our corporation, we will make that change. So I'm grateful for you to be here. I want to just let you know that below in the show notes, there are a variety of free offers down there, which will help you start to define it. So the first one down there is this really cool opportunity that I'm giving, which is an impact and influence strategy session. So if you are a woman who wants to have more influence, who wants to take your company further in success, who wants to improve the well-being of your team, and you are in a leadership position or want to move into a leadership position, then fill out the form. I am really excited. We'll have a 30-minute chat. We'll build your specific impact statement, and I will help you craft the strategies that you need to move forward. So that's the first free offer. The second one there is, if you want to try and build your impact statement on your own, feel free to click on the link and get the branding workshop. It is there. It is easy to access. And then the third free workshop down there is actually an part of my Take Back Your Time, and it helps you identify the activities that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that are holding you back, and starts to get you into the mindset and your emotions related to those activities so that you can release them or delegate them, which are two phenomenal skills of leadership, so that you have more time to be more impactful. My name is Nancy Michelle. I am the founder of the Confident Feminine Woman, and I am on this journey with you to help you move up the leadership in your organization. If this was helpful for you, I would love for you to just put a like on the post, subscribe if you're coming in from YouTube, put a comment below of the one thing that you are going to do to create massive impact in your company. I would love to hear from you. I want to cheer you on and support you on your journey.